Rags to riches tale. It's a rags to riches tale. The four of us. Random acts of finance. Let's go. This is I don't know what episode we're on. I can't count to three. All right, back here. Anantula, Rush, and Anish. We're gonna talk EVs. We kind of alluded to it on our last episode, and let's talk future, like the potential of EVs and like kind of the future. It was supposed to be the big thing in 2021. Joe Biden was supposed to give all of us an EV and give us and tell us to invest in EVs, and we were all going to be billionaires. And I don't know about you, but I don't even have that $1,000 no more. So let's talk about it. Tesla
Okay.
is not at $800 like we thought it was going to be at.
Yeah.
Neo has collapsed since. Rivian will IPO. I don't know anything about XP, whatever, XPEV, whatever. I don't know anything personally. We can talk about it. And Lucid is what started the SPAC craze. And then there's like a few more out there, but we'll stick to those for now.
Okay.
What do you guys think is the future of EVs? Or at least EV stocks and EVs? We can talk both of them, right? We can talk about they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, Bruce, what do you think?
I think for me going forward, I believe in Neo's battery swapping. I think that's something that I've been talking about ever since I've heard about Tesla or the whole battery charging taking so long. And I feel like, as I was saying, it's, if you think about it, our grid is not ready for everybody to have EVs yet, right? Hopefully, gradually as you progress, they'll get there. But I feel like the battery swapping is a good way forward, or even a midway step, if anything, to that way. You just take the battery out, swap it in, and it takes maybe twice as much as it would to fill up your gas tank right now. And I feel like that's something of a midway step that can kind of get us, or get everybody ready to be in a place where you can just get ready for EVs and everybody's okay with that, because that way you don't have that range anxiety, and you stop over or get like a gas station, they would just have that battery swapping there, and boom, done deal. So I feel like that's definitely a good play on Neo's side, but I think there's definitely downsides to it also, as in terms of maintenance. Like who is actually paying the cost of the maintenance, for these batteries, because they have a lifespan as well.
Yeah.
So I think there are definitely some kinks to work out. I think it could be, because the way Neo is planning to roll out is they can sell you the car and you can lease their battery, and that way you're paying the monthly fee on it, and they're maintaining the battery for you. So whenever you're done, you send it back and you can get another one.
But these batteries have like their degradation, like unless you're really shitty with them, like you literally just supercharge every time, and they tell you literally not to do that. Like that's like 101, right? I mean, mine is what my car is now 7 years old, and it's supposed to start with 253. I think and now I can top out at like 248. I drive like an asshole, so like I don't actually ever see 248, but that's just like gasoline. I wouldn't ever see the full tank either, because I would drive like an asshole, right? Like that's
but that's also you saying because you own the car and the battery's kind of attached onto your car, right? If you imagine if your car was a rental car, how many people go rent a car and they don't give a shit what they say? You dog the hell out of the car and you return it back. It's not your problem at the end of the day.
Sure.
It'll be the same. If you're leasing the battery, like, I don't care. I'm gonna get the life of it. I'll send it back to them and I'll get a different one.
But are you buying the actual like body of the car then? Is that what you're buying?
So that's happened. So you can either buy it with the battery,
sure,
or you can get just the car and then you can lease the battery, and then it's like $6,000 cheaper to buy the car now.
I don't see the point, to be honest, because that battery is gonna last, has shown to last, and I don't know Neo's battery versus Tesla's battery technology. I can't tell you the difference, right? If it is the same, let's just for sake of argument say they're the same. They're supposed to go 300,000 miles. Like they'll be fine at 300,000 miles. No one's driving any car 300,000 miles anymore. Like it's just not how people work, right? There's very few cars that hit that. They're like, why go into it? But I get it. Like it makes people not have the range anxiety, whether it's a kind of, in my mind, it's a little gimmicky, but like if it's just to get rid of people's range anxiety, sure. But I mean, China's government could also be like, everyone do this, and then they'd be like, hey. I also like Neo, but for different reasons. Neo is like the luxury version of a Tesla in China, is what I've understood it to be. Like it's a little bit more like refined versus like Tesla's. If we're gonna put Tesla in a category there, it'd probably be the more like sport, like it's gonna go 3.1 seconds, whatever shit. And Neo is like a little bit more of like a well put together car. That's like the difference in them. I think I feel like Lucid is going to be that to Tesla in America. Lucid could be Neo here. And I think that's good. I mean, I think that will harbor, like, a knife makes another knife, a sword makes another sword sharper situation. And that's what it ends up doing. Right. But yeah, that I forgot my point. Yeah, that's my point. That
no, I agree. I think that's one thing. Like, Tesla has, they usually have the best range, the better battery technology. They have the most miles driven of an EV out of everybody. But the one thing that they've been lacking is their quality. Their build quality is,
it's severely lacking. Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing. That their build quality is at that point. So
yeah,
I think if the Lucids or the Neos come into the picture where they're gonna give you that quality that you may expect from like a German manufacturer or something of that, then
Porsche is doing it.
Yeah,
Porsche is the one that's finally doing it. They just don't have, their range is garbage. Their battery,
exactly.
They're using 3 AA batteries, and they're like, good luck, buddy. We'll see you at the end of the street.
And it's not even Energizer, so they're not,
yeah, they're
forever.
using some like weird German brand.
They use store brand batteries.
Right, exactly. Like some German store batteries. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. But I think the market it's just hurting right now. But like people are just hurting right now, right?
Exactly.
I get it. What do y'all think? Ansel, what do you think?
I like Neo. Ever since I watched that video of their like supercar going like 260 miles an hour around the track autonomously, I was like, wow, this company's for real. And they actually had an Indian lady as their CEO for a while before she quit a few years back. I remember following them a little bit, and I did see the battery swapping. My only concern with that is right now, superchargers, it costs about 100 to 150 grand to set up one supercharger in a location. And so generally when Tesla set these up, they have 8 to 10 at each location. So it's a big cost. My biggest thing is, will Neo be able to deploy the battery changing across the country like Tesla has? Right now, if I want to go from here to California, I just go into my Tesla, I'd be like California, LA. And it tells me where I need to stop, where I need to charge everything. Now with Neo, if it's a battery swapping, how is that going to be possible across the entire United States? And it's going to be very expensive.
So think of it this way, right now, even if you say, set from here to California, it may tell you where the supercharger stations are and where to stop, but you're gonna be at those stations for like at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes, whatever charging is.
It does it more logically, where it'll only be 15 minutes, maybe a few more times, but it'll be 15 minutes. So,
yeah, okay, but then on top of that, what if there's more people charging? Right now, there's not that many people driving EVs.
It knows. That's the thing. It knows. So like, if you click on the map, it'll tell you how many there are. So like, I mean, in most places on the East Coast, at least, in between the East Coast and West Coast, I don't really know, but there's thousands, right?
No.
If there's a lot at one, it'll take you to the next one at 50 miles away, or the one before, right? That's how it's.
I understand that, yeah. But the thing is, right now, like I said, there's not that many people driving EVs. The goal is, as more and more people driving EVs, these stations that people are charging at, they're going to start filling up. There's going to be lines, sometimes, if anything, going to fill up at these stations. The way I feel like they can, if the Neo model of the battery swapping can work, is imagine every gas station. Most gas stations, or some gas stations, they have like a convenience store or whatever it is, right? And sometimes they have a garage attached to it, a car wash, whatever it is. They need a hub like that. You go in, there's a robot that'll take a battery out, swap the battery back in and out, maybe 5 minutes, and you're done. And then
but that's the thing. Is it only going to be doing one at a time or like 15 at a time? Because
it depends. It depends on the size of the.
So these are charging 10 at a time, right? So let's say, like Gogo said, 15 minutes to charge, and in 15 minutes you charge 10. So on average, 1.5 minutes, whatever, right? Is what you look at. But then they're swapping them out 15 at a time, like 10 at a time every 15 minutes. Versus these, now you're saying it could take 5 minutes. Once again, with the robots, issues.
But the thing is, you can do both. You can have charging stations and the battery swapping. So people who
and how expensive will it be, though?
Yeah,
I think let's not get stuck in the nuance of it all, because eventually the other part of this all is battery technology will get better. The quantum batteries will charge the entire battery in 15 minutes, right?
Quantum scale.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a quantum battery. Quantum scale is the company. The actual battery technology, the solid state battery, is a quantum glass battery. So that's going to change everything. The second they can do that and stack them on top of each other, that's when you get 800 miles and you're like, if you have to stop, you're a really bad planner. That's on you, or whatever, so it won't come to that, hopefully.
No, I think as like you said, as the battery technology gets better and we can get closer and closer to that number of being able to charge your car almost as fast as you could do with your gas,
Mhm.
or and also get to the fact where your range is longer. So right now, you can probably drive a comparable sedan to a Model 3 like 400 miles, maybe 450 miles, right?
Mhm.
Sure.
Once
Yeah.
the range gets there, and let's say even in the you're not supercharging it fully all the time, you're just filling it up, and you can do it in 5 minutes. I
Mhm.
think that's fine. You can sit there 5 minutes, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do if you're going on a trip, and 5 minutes is just enough time, and you can get your full battery.
That's
Even
true.
if it gets you 80%, that's pretty good for going forward. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
No, I agree.
I mean, don't you think the infrastructure to have a like capability to do multiple batteries, like one gas station, how many batteries can they hold? Like, how much would they have to adapt or increase their land and build out whatever to hold multiple batteries, charge them, and vice versa?
no.
Like,
So I don't think they'll need that much, because the thing is, as people are swapping, they'll charge the batteries that they swapped out. But
That's
those are charging, on the
It's
back, so
gonna what they're
they can just give it to the other
but
person.
like,
remember
how fast would that rotation be?
all you always
remember-
need. All you really need is like 4 or 5 extra batteries at each location. Because the thing is, when people swap them out, like it could probably still charge it just as fast as a supercharger can in like
Yeah.
15 to 30 minutes.
you have to think about it. Remember in like high school or in middle school when they had those racks of computers in that
Yep.
like tray? That's literally what they're gonna do if they
Yeah.
did that. But again, I just think battery technology will work faster than autonomous technology to come to
Yeah.
that. I honestly just believe that won't happen
Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
reason.
No, I think I agree. I think it will be a mix of both
Yeah.
going forward. I think it just depends whichever one you want to do at what time.
Agreed. I think the big intermediate step that needs to happen for traditional automakers, and you're already seeing them do it, like BMW is doing it and Mercedes is doing it, is having the gas EV, right? Where if you're just going to work and back, you could do it all on EV as long as you're not drag racing at every light, right? if you,
Oh man.
I mean, it is what it is. There's some until you get a full EV, then you can start drag racing everybody, right? But the X5, X3, the E Class, the
Yeah.
5 Series. I'm just going in between brands at this moment.
Mhm.
They all have like these batteries that can go 35, 40 miles, and like maybe not in this area that's enough. But I mean, in other like slightly less shitty trafficked areas, that can be your commute. That can be
Yeah.
you going to work and back, and then just plug it back in, and you never really need gas. Like that's what the Volt does, but the Volt is really ugly, and nobody wants that. You never have to put gas in the car. I think once everyone starts doing, once that's the industry standard, then people will be ready for EVs. We'll be like, I mean, I already charged my car. I mean, what's the big deal? Now I never have to put gas in my car. I think that'll just get people over that range anxiety hump.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think that halfway in the hybrid situation can definitely work, but I think they need to increase that mileage for the all EV to probably at least 100.
Yeah, no, they need to buy in and make the engines, like the actual gas engines, just need to be 4 liters. All of them need to be 4-liter engines. Nothing bigger. You can't put a V8 and then an EV in there and have everyone driving in an Acura NSX at that point. Like that doesn't make any sense, right? And then put a bigger battery in, because they right now put like a 13 kilowatt battery that literally is
For a
gonna go
lawnmower.
down the street. Yeah, exactly. Literally, it's a lawnmower. Yeah. Okay, but before we like wrap this all up, what do y'all think about Rivian? Because they're going to be them and Lucid are going to be the big ones coming out, at least in the United States, probably Canada as well, that are going to really compete with Tesla. They're also going to be the big ones that are probably going to move the market a lot and affect probably Tesla's. I don't think they're going to affect Tesla's stock, because Tesla is now at a point where it's proven, right? It's a little bit more proven of a.
I think with Rivian, I think it's not too much of a competition for Tesla as of right now, just because they're focusing more on pickup trucks and commercial. Correct. Yeah.
And
So
SUV,
yeah. So I think that may be more of a competition for Ford, or maybe something that Ford, will kind of make that, okay, they can prove the market out and they can create the F-150 sooner or whatever it may be and get that out there. And I think from a standpoint of their valuation, I think they'll go in, they're pretty going in strong. So there'll probably be a dip as soon as they go. And then, I feel like long term, they will definitely be a competitor, because I feel like EVs are very, very viable commercial vehicle wise.
yeah.
So that's definitely something that can, hold them through. But I think they're more viable commercial vehicle wise with like the 18 wheelers and stuff. I don't know if they're that viable for like the Transit, like the Ford Transit competitor, because when you're in the city or wherever it is, you know, you don't know where you're going to find how long you're going to be waiting, how long, you know, you're going to be sitting at a spot. So that may be a little bit hard to judge, but I think they have a good way forward, but they just got to kind of narrow down their SKUs.
I mean, I have like a soft spot for Rivian. Based on like their technology, like I love the fact that they built everything on that skateboard, right? It's like the top doesn't really matter. When I was working there, they used to use F-150s as like the tops on top of these skateboards to test the cars out. And I mean, so like
that's what Tesla did with the Lotus, right?
Yeah,
they just put a skateboard on there.
Just
the industry standard.
It's just like the F-150. But the thing is, like, you can put basically whatever you want. So that skateboard, the reason that they can do the R1T, R1S, and the Amazon truck is because it's using the same skateboard. They're not changing their technology for it. So that all of that comes pre-packaged, and then all they are doing is putting an Amazon truck on top of it, or the truck or the SUV body. And so because of that, I don't think they need to technically change their SKUs as much. It doesn't really affect them because their SKU is the skateboard. The top body, I mean, let's be honest, that's not that hard to figure out. Like you're just molding metal and like putting it on top of it, right? The tires, the actual like drivetrain, everything is attached to the skateboard. And each individual tire has its own motor. And I think one of the things that I like about Rivian personally is how they were able to like, I mean, one of the key things that I saw like when they're doing the development and everything was like they kind of trying to make it like more about like nature, right? Like kind of like taking like what Range Rover has as far as like luxury, but then also being able to go off-roading, being able to go camping. You wanted that ruggedness in your truck. And so I feel like they're able to offer that. And because of that, like I do see that they have a lot of potential. So when I see that they're, you know, they want to go IPO at $50 billion, one, I'm just like, why didn't I go there? Should have just gone there. Makes more sense. But it makes sense, right? Like they are the closest thing to Tesla. Given there's still a chance it might not work in whenever it releases, I think July, it might not work. But if it does, guess what? They're gonna catch up to Tesla quickly.
Well, I mean, they have to have the biggest hurdle for Lucid and Rivian and everyone. Where am I going to charge this thing?
Yeah.
Where am I going to charge
I think that's what they need to do. Like they need to have that adapter, that universal adapter, just the
Tesla
USB-C for everybody.
Tesla said that you can license this out. Like you can pay us a little bit and you can use it. And I don't understand why people won't. Like I get it. You're losing a little money off the top, but how are you going to build this infrastructure? Because right now what they're doing is building out partnerships with like Electrify USA and whatever. And it's like, yo, this is already built and it's literally everywhere. Like I can say for a fact, because I've driven up and down the East Coast with my car, is that they're literally everywhere. The only time I was stuck is when I ignored it and said, no, I can make it home. When it's like, you have 30 miles left. I'm 80 miles away from home. The math makes sense. Let's do this, right? Like, I just don't understand why they won't do it. But I will say, I am a Tesla fanboy, but I hate the Model X. I hate the way it looks. I don't like the Model Y, so I need an SUV. Unless Tesla changes that shit, I don't see how I'm buying the Tesla SUV ever. Like, it's not gonna happen. But
and I think one thing, you know, we didn't really hit on is like, you know, we talked about these individual companies, right? And the potential for these individual companies. We haven't really touched on like the market itself, the overall market and like the worldwide market for EVs. Right now, like if you look at global market for cars, it's hundreds of like maybe 100, 200 million cars. I don't know what it is. But I remember reading a stat of like this year, I think global EV market was maybe like 5 or 6%. It's projected to go to like 10% by 2025. And I'm pretty sure by like 2040, it's supposed to hit 60% of the global car market. So now you're already looking at a 10x growth in the number of cars that are being produced. And you have 5 companies that are producing these cars. Let's just say 5 big ones, 4 or 5 big ones. But then you're also looking at countries like India, which have these like, you know, regulations that are coming out saying that, you know, the country needs to be fully electric by 2035. Is that going to happen? Probably not. There's just too much bureaucratic stuff in like India, China, like the larger markets for it to completely go through. But if they start making those efforts to get there, and these car manufacturers are able to like go into those countries with a cheaper model, like something like a Model 1, not a Model 3, but like a 1 that's like dirt cheap and is able to like, you know, suffice it in those markets, then there is a huge potential. And so whether it's Tesla, Neo, Rivian, it doesn't matter. People will buy these.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I thought there was a company, I think it's called Candy in China, that makes like $5,000 cars. Yeah, it's like KNDI Candy, I think. And
yes.
yeah,
They're one of those stocks that like soared up with like a lot of these, like, it's not a Wall Street bet one, but like it
yeah,
was one that was like moving up at the same time.
yeah. So
it's a Robin Hood stock pretty much.
maybe, yeah.
Candy.
I first heard about them through Scotty Kilmer, so that's why I started looking into them. But yeah, they make like $5,000 cars. You know, it's kind of like that Tata Nano that came out, you know, a few years back. So they have the infrastructure to make those smaller cars for these, you know, third world markets. But I think the only thing is they gotta be able to fit a battery into the price, right?
Exactly.
So
It'll get
I think
cheaper.
that
It's one of those things that's like once you start making more, it'll just get cheaper. That's
exactly.
But it's just,
Exactly, and that's what, you know, that's what Tesla's doing too. They're, instead of making their cars more expensive, they're making them cheaper. They're like trying to get into as many homes as possible.
Have they
So,
really though?
yeah, look at the Model
Yeah.
3. It's
Model
dropped
3
like
you can
Is this
actually buy a
like
Model
40
3 for
something?
no, you can buy a Model 3 base model for
Yeah.
$35,000, $38,000.
yeah.
That's it. I mean, which remember, a fully loaded Camry is 40 grand now. A fully loaded Camry is 40 grand now.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
like that's outrageous. Like I told you a Camry just now. So like it's the same thing in the same idea. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely possible, and yeah, like you said, the market is huge for, you know, these EVs. But I feel like that kind of leads me to that whole robo taxi, right? What happens? Do we even need to make these you know, cheaper cars, where, or maybe it's just in the future everybody either just does a robo taxi or does a Range Rover model where you always just lease the car?
Nah, this is America, buddy. This is where we have more cars than people. There's no robo taxi taking over Texas. I'm sorry. Like I don't want a robo taxi taking me places like that. Like
No, but no,
I want my autonomous car. But
I understand that, and that's what I'm saying. You know, so half of it is robo taxi. Like in the city, everybody just robo taxis. There's no, you know, that. But the other model is you just lease your car. You know how you have an iPhone, you just on a payment plan, you just pay monthly, and you get a new model every other year or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Is that the model? Is that, I feel like that's what's going on in Range Rover right now, because they don't really expect you to buy and hold your car.
Yep.
They want you to buy or lease it and then get the new one in next year.
Tesla does the same thing. You get a 3-year lease. You can easily get a 3-year lease with them. Like it's one or two options. You want to buy this car, or you want to just give it back in 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to buy it because I'm not gonna do this all over again. Like this is not a thing. Literally.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, as more and more people are, you know, getting electrified ish, or more and more companies getting electrified, and people just don't want to own cars anymore. I feel like especially when there's half of that car culture kind of goes away, because there's no more, you know, there's no motorheads anymore. There's no gas, there's no sound, there's nothing anymore, right? So that love for cars, I feel like, kind of goes away, because now it's all about how it looks. It's like an iPhone now, right? Well, how does it look? What kind of tech features does it give me? And that's all it is.
No. Remember this. No matter what, there's still people sitting there working in MS-DOS right now, or like on Linux on the command line. Like there's always gonna be that.
There's gonna be the tinkers.
It will absolutely always. It will be a hobby, right? It will just now be a hobby.
Mhm.
Correct. And like you said, it's a hobby. Hobbies don't make money.
I don't know what you're talking about. Some hobbies make a lot of money. Like there's a lot of industries that are just built on hobbies. And
Right, but once they get commercialized, that's where the money is, you know.
yeah, I mean it's gonna be commercialized. It's already
a
commercial hobby.
I mean, there's a reason Linux is free, right? It's not fully viable in the workspace or whatever it may be.
That's why they have Red Hat, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
we have a Red Hat that's an enterprise version. We'll get both.
Exactly.
We'll get both.
Yeah.
You'll
Right.
go to a junkyard and get a Tercel and whatever, or you're gonna have to go through these like dealerships that are gonna find you your 97 Camry, so you can live through your high school years all over again. You know. It's gonna be one of
Yeah,
those.
no, I feel like with this whole EV thing though, especially what Tesla's doing with, you know, no dealership model, I feel like hopefully that will change the car buying game. And I think
Yes.
that's where these companies like maybe
Carvana.
Carvana and all these may come into the picture more. You know, where it's like you don't need to have a dealership anymore, and, you know, charge outrageous pricing for repairs, whatever it may be, because
Mhm.
hopefully there won't be many repairs to do.
I
or
mean,
you know,
the
things.
only repairs that I've had with my car are the damn door handles. Damn door handles have been the repair.
But that's warranty, right? They cover that under warranty. So
My warranty is over, so God help me. All right, before we wrap up, I want to give one negative to the EV market. I want to give one because I think most people are very positive on it. I watched this video about back in the 50s, right? There were about 300 car makers from anywhere from 1900 to like 1960 or something like that, right?
I think I know where you're going with this.
And now we're down to like 8, right? Like there's 8 automakers. And
who survives?
Who survives? That's the thing, right? Like there's now 100 EV makers now. Like everyone, their mom's making an EV. Fisker, Workhorse. Yes, they're doing different things. Lucid, I don't know, Fluid, whatever the hell, right? All these ones. And then there's all the companies that already make cars that are going to start making EVs, right? Some of these that we're buying into might fail. Like you might be buying, like I'm just using this as an example, like Lucid. We might be buying Lucid and it's all smoke and mirrors. And it never actually turns to anything. The first car they make, like Fisker, gives you a blue screen and you can't drive it and it catches on fire.
It catches on fire.
And Justin Bieber is live Instagramming it. And you're just like, all right, well, that company's dead. So just be careful. It is a market to be careful about.
I agree. I think, in my opinion, the ones that will survive are the ones that have the most miles driven, because, you know, it is going to come down to the technology you offer. And, you know, I feel like currently Tesla has the most miles driven and they have the best technology in terms of their cars. And I feel like the competition comes out when the mergers or the partnerships start happening, you know, like with Google or with Apple, where the tech companies have that interface and technology back in, and then you have these big car makers who know how to make cars, who know how to pump out 1 million cars a month. And, you know, and then that's the one, because they have miles driven, they just don't have autonomous miles driven. And I think once they capture that, and the loyal people that are going to always buy the F-150, you know, they're going to continue to do that, they go out and they start driving, and then they start mapping these roads. That's where I feel like the advantages of the other car manufacturers will go down. So I feel like a company like NIO that is, you know, currently only in China, and they're driving miles there, where Tesla is not as big, but they're there. They have a presence, and, you know, at the end of the day, NIO is a full Chinese company, and the Chinese government can mandate that everybody who buys an EV is going to be a NIO, right? So those kind of plays can come into the picture. So I think at the end of the things that kind of just get in is technology and miles driven.
Fair enough,
whoever has that most. So hopefully, you know, these new companies like Lucid and Rivian and Xpeng can kind of come out with their cars quickly, so they have the miles driven before the big guys like, you know, even Porsche gets those miles. So, you know, they have that to share. So I think that is something that will help decide. So I think if Lucid, Xpeng and Rivian can't come out with their cars fast enough and get those miles driven, I'll probably exit those positions.
All I know is Tesla can never fail. They have a Techno King now. And a Master of Coin.
A self-proclaimed
Techno King and a self-appointed Master of Coin. So they're never going down.
And actually didn't, is it Tesla who got whatever, Johnny Ive from Apple?
Oh, Johnny Ive?
Yeah. I think one of the companies picked him up. Maybe it was Lucid. I don't know. I feel like one of them picked him up, and I feel like, you know, they are going into that interface and the UI version of it that will help get their cars adopted much faster.
Hold on, I want to look this up because that's.
Yeah, I want to know this too.
I think it's Lucid.
Yeah, I think he's on the board or something of Lucid or something like that. Or CCIV. Oh yeah, I think it is CCIV. He's on the board of CCIV, I think.
Is he? Okay. He started his own firm, design firm, Love Form.
Yeah, but just look up
working
CCIV.
With CCIV.
Yeah.
Lucid. He is working with Churchill Capital.
Yeah. So I think he's on the board or something of.
I mean, that's a whole nother thing where Apple's also going to be making a car.
Yeah.
And they have $1 trillion to blow.
But I think what I had read was Apple wants to stay away from adding car to their portfolio, where they may just make the inside. So it's just like the MacBook, with the Mac OS, the iPhone with the iOS, and the car with the car OS, right? So they just make the internals of the car, but the car maker is different.
They're actually just making a Mac Pro for a car. You go buy the body from somewhere else. You just plug the Mac Pro in,
and then it runs everything.
Works.
Or you just put your phone. You connect your iPhone, and it has enough power to power your whole car.
I'm pretty sure their dash is gonna be put your iPhone here, and this dash is gonna be iPad here.
Exactly.
And then you take it and take it with you.
I don't know. If
that's Moore's law, right? Every 18 months we double in capacity.
Exactly.
Whatever it is. So
and
give it 18 months.
Eventually, there's nothing left, right? Eventually, you just fizzle. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, another episode of Nobody.
So man. We're about to do it.
I was about to say it.
Every time I tell
Something
you
with random, right?
random acts of finance.
That's
guys.
exactly what I was gonna
We'll
say.
get it one day. Please
One day.
subscribe. Let us know what you think about EVs. Are they gonna last? And when am I getting my Escalade EV? I want to know that. That's the date. Tell me the date.
Yeah. Do the Graham step and then destroy the like button, right?
Destroy
And
it.
if you are a financial advisor and have some stock advice, just comment down below.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because we are not financial advisors.
Exactly.
All right. Make sure you subscribe. Peace.
See you guys.
Peace.